Have you ever wondered how we went from nothing to everything? How life began, evolved, and brought us to where we are today? From the birth of the universe to the rise of civilizations in the modern world, we are about to cover the entire history of the world in just 5 minutes. Yes, the whole thing. So sit back and relax because this is going to be a fun ride. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more awesome content. Let's get started. It all began around 13.8 billion years ago with an event known as the Big Bang. At first, there was nothing. No stars, no planets, no life. Then, out of nowhere, the universe exploded into existence. Time, space, and matter all began to expand. From this initial explosion, everything we know today started forming. For a long time, there were only gases like hydrogen and helium floating around in space. Over millions of years, gravity pulled these gases together, forming stars and galaxies. The first stars burned brightly, but eventually, they exploded in massive supernovae, creating the heavy elements necessary for planets and life. Fast forward to about 4.5 billion years ago, and that's when our planet, Earth, was formed. In its early days, Earth was a molten, fiery mess with volcanic activity everywhere. But slowly, it began to cool down, and water appeared on its surface, creating oceans. Around 3.8 billion years ago, the first life forms, tiny single-celled organisms, emerged in the oceans. For billions of years, these simple life forms were all there was. They photosynthesized and released oxygen into the atmosphere, slowly transforming Earth into a planet that could support more complex life. Around 500 million years ago, life took a massive leap forward during what scientists call the Cambrian explosion. Suddenly, there was a huge burst of new life. Plants, fish, and a variety of weird creatures appeared in the oceans. Some animals even crawled onto land and evolved into reptiles and amphibians. Then came the age of the dinosaurs, starting about 250 million years ago. For the next 165 million years, dinosaurs ruled the Earth. They ranged from the massive T-Rex to smaller, bird-like creatures. Earth was a vibrant, wild place during this time. But then, about 66 million years ago, a giant asteroid slammed into Earth, wiping out most of the dinosaurs in a mass extinction. This opened the door for another group of animals to rise, mammals. After the dinosaurs disappeared, small mammals began to thrive. Over millions of years, some of these mammals evolved into primates, our distant ancestors. The first human-like species appeared around 6 million years ago, and over time, they developed the skills that made us human, like walking upright, making tools, and controlling fire. Around 200,000 years ago, the species we call Homo sapiens, or modern humans, emerged in Africa. These early humans were hunter-gatherers, living in small groups and using simple tools. They moved across the planet, adapting to different environments and slowly becoming the dominant species. For most of human history, people survived by hunting animals and gathering plants. But around 12,000 years ago, humans made one of the most important discoveries ever: agriculture. Instead of constantly moving to find food, they learned to plant crops and domesticate animals. This meant they could settle down, build villages, and store food for the future. As farming spread, so did human populations. Villages grew into towns, and towns into cities. The first great civilizations, like Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, and the Indus Valley Civilization, emerged around 3000 BCE. These societies built large cities, developed writing systems, and created governments to organize and rule their people. They also began trading with each other, exchanging goods, ideas, and culture. As centuries passed, humans built larger and more powerful civilizations. The Roman Empire in Europe, the Han Dynasty in China, and the Persian Empire in the Middle East were some of the biggest and most influential. These empires built roads, invented new technologies, and spread their cultures far and wide. At the same time, new religions and belief systems began to form. Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam became major religions, shaping how people viewed the world and their place in it. In Europe, after the fall of the Roman Empire, the Middle Ages brought a period of wars, knights, and castles. But this time also saw important advancements in the Islamic world and China, where scholars were inventing new ways to study the stars, heal diseases, and build machines. By the 1400s, Europe entered a new period called the Renaissance. This was a time of incredible cultural and scientific growth. People like Leonardo da Vinci and Galileo Galilei made groundbreaking discoveries in art and science. Around the same time, explorers like Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama set sail across the oceans. Their voyages connected the Americas, Europe, Africa, and Asia, leading to the global trade of goods, ideas, and even people. Unfortunately, this also included the transatlantic slave trade, which had devastating effects on millions of lives. In the 1700s and 1800s, the Industrial Revolution transformed how people lived and worked. Factories, powered by steam engines, could produce goods much faster than ever before. Railroads and steamships connected distant parts of the world, and cities grew larger as more people moved to work in factories. The 20th century saw incredible technological progress, electricity, automobiles, airplanes, and the rise of the internet. But it also saw two world wars, World War I and World War II, which brought unimaginable destruction. After World War II, the world entered a new era of technology and global politics, with superpowers like the United States and the Soviet Union influencing much of what happened. And now, here we are in the 21st century. We live in an age of unprecedented technological advancement. People can travel across the world in hours, communicate instantly across continents, and even explore space. But we also face global challenges like climate change, political tensions, and economic inequality. The story of humanity is still being written, and the future is in our hands. What will we achieve next? Only time will tell. And that's the entire history of the world. If you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more fascinating content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.